Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
It's you and the senorita. Whoop a blowing up the tweeter, cause it's me up in the speaker. Back in the mama seat, top down like a player. And the sound up in your ears, it is the dopest rhyme. Say I run a game like a cheater.
The golden rule. The golden rule. Karma. Casting bread on the waters. Every single religion has its own version of it. Every single religion has its own version of saying what you do will come back to you. If you're a good person, good things will happen to you, and vice versa. A lot of people will tell you that religion is a foundation of morality. A lot of people will tell you that religion is a foundation of morality in America and all over the world. But what's interesting is I've known a lot of folks that just straight up don't believe. They're atheists. It's not like they're deists. It's not like they're agnostic. It's not like they're looking for something. It's not like they're spiritually searching. And they are some of the most morally upright people I've ever met. And they're like, see, I don't need religion to tell me what to do, to tell me how to behave and act. And to those people, I say, I'm really not so sure. Like, what do you mean? I was like, well, you're responding to religion, saying, I don't need you to do all the things that you tell me to do. You're already informed by the thous and thou shalt nots as you're going through your day. Is your moral compass based in religion? I'm like, no, of course it's not. I do what I do without any fear of recrimination or repercussion. I was like, really? But you're a good person. Like, well, I don't want to be a bad person. That would make me feel bad. And before we get too deeply into it, before I get angry letters from people that are very religious or very spiritual, the reason I bring this up is because, I don't know, I think that, look, my theory on God and religion is that we are pre-blessed. We are pre-blessed with everything that we need in our hearts and our minds to get through the day, to know what the right thing to do is, to handle any problem that comes up in life, to handle any tough hand that we are dealt. I think we are given the tools in our hearts and our minds to deal with everything. And I know how I'm hardwired. I know how I'm hardwired because I tried doing something bad once when I was a kid. I wanted to feel what it would be like to steal. I'll never forget it. I'm on a field trip in the 4th grade. And some friends of mine had stolen some stuff, some baseball cards from a grocery store. And some other friends of mine had stolen some batteries. Even a friend had stolen a compact disc from a record store. And I couldn't think to do something like that. It seemed absolutely unimaginable. Couldn't imagine the idea of taking somebody else's property, even if it was out of a store. It wasn't so much the fear of going to jail. I mean, logically, you're like, okay, we're kids. We're not going to jail. We're not going to juvie for stealing a compact disc. But it was the idea of having done something wrong, having broken a personal moral code that freaked me the hell out. The idea of the sense of all-consuming guilt and how they could go through life without having the guilt after having stolen a CD from a store was just beyond me, but I wanted to know what it was like to steal. So I'm on a field trip with my 4th or 5th grade class. And as you do when you are in a museum, you exit where? Through the gift shop. And I'm in England, and I see these commemorative erasers. Erasers were in short supply. Hey, can I borrow your eraser? made a mistake. Get your own eraser. You never give them back. I just lost mine. Okay. Like, erasers were a hot commodity. You remember being a kid and being that one kid in the class that had the neon erasers? People thought you were so cool. And this was a moderately cool eraser. And I think its value was about 10 pence for a piece of rubber, which translates into like 16 cents American, I suppose. And I remember looking at it. I remember eyeing it up. And I remember thinking, that's it. That's what I'm going to steal. And I edged ever closer to it until finally I made my move.
Say ho, say ho, ho, let's start the show. Let's start the show. Hot 2, hot 3, hot AZ from your radio live and uncut. Tonight, you're cutting loose and having fun.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
Yeah, I do what I want, when I want, how I want. Every day you're going and working, running that rat race at that pace in that place. We'll leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone, working day after day. So buddy, I gotta say, for you, there's gotta be a better way. Yeah, and you do what they told ya. Company man, feel it, a mindless little soldier. How can you live like that and maintain your composure before it's begun? Your life's already freaking over. Yeah, I do what I want.
So I'm 9 or 10 years old. I'm on a field trip. And my friends have told me stories about how they're going to steal stuff or how they have stolen stuff. Baseball cards, CDs from stores, things like that. And it was unimaginable to me that they could just do this and go on with their lives. But I decided that I was going to steal because I wanted to see what it felt like. And I'm on this field trip, and we're in the museum gift shop, which you have to exit through because it's a museum gift shop. And I spot the object of my first crime, an eraser, a commemorative eraser, high premium place on erasers in grade school. And this was an okay eraser. It wasn't one of those fancy neon erasers like we were talking about before that made every kid in the classroom go, oh, that's cool. Can I borrow that eraser? You're like, hell no. You haven't given me back the last 5 erasers and pens that I loaned to you, and now my mom's getting mad. No. But it was kind of a cool eraser. Had a nifty little design on it. 10 pence. 16 cents American. And I edge ever closer to it. How do you steal? How am I going to steal this? How am I not going to get caught stealing this? And so I pick up the eraser and I thoughtfully turn it over in my hand. I act like I'm looking at it. And then I act like I'm distracted by something else. I start looking at something else on the shelf, going, And my hand falls to my side. There's actually a security guard there. Security guard in a uniform. The buttons stretched to their breaking point on this guy's shirt and on this guy's pants. Looked like he signed up for the gig and got the uniform long before he ever gave up on life. But his expanding waistline that didn't fit his security garb somehow made me feel like there might be a chance I could outrun him if I had to. But then I had chaperones on the field trip, and I had classmates on the field trip, and what would happen if they found out? My heart was pounding out of my chest as I dropped my hand to my side. It was cold. I was wearing a big winter coat, big parka that your mom wraps you up in when you're 9, 10 years old to go anywhere. And you go on those field trips and you can't handle it because, well, it's great when you're outside, but when you're on the bus on the way to the field trip, it gets mighty hot. And then you got to wear it from the bus into the museum. And for the 10 seconds that you're cold outside the museum, it's great. But then you get into the museum and it's a pain in the butt to carry it around. So you just wind up wearing it. And you start sweating. And it sucks. And I'm already sweating. And I start sweating bullets as I drop my hand to my side and I let the eraser fall into that big side coat pocket that I've got. Next thing I had to do was walk out of the place without getting caught. Between me and my first perpetrated crime, there stands a security guard, a cashier, and the chaperone for the field trip, who says to me, and my heart leaps into my throat. My heart leaps into my throat. Do you need to get anything or can we go? I'm like, no, we can go. And I walk out, past the chaperone, past the security guard, past the cashier where I should have paid my 10 pence for this eraser. And I'm done. I'm home free. I'm outside. I have stolen something. And my entire world changed in that moment. I was a criminal. I'd done something morally reprehensible. For what? For an eraser? For the feeling of stealing an eraser? That's ridiculous. And the guilt eating a hole in my stomach lining was unrelenting. And it was probably about 30, 40 seconds that I was outside of the store. But it seemed like an eternity. And I remember saying to the chaperone, oh, hold on, I just wanted to look at one more thing. I walked back into the store. I reached into my pocket. I grabbed the eraser. I go back to the little basket where these 10 pence erasers are on display. I go, I'm just wondering if maybe my mom would like one of these. And with the original eraser hidden in my hand, I pick up a second eraser. And I look at it. And I go, yeah, no, I don't think she would. And I drop both of the erasers at the same time back into the basket. And I leave my conscience clear, and my curiosity as to what it is like to commit a crime satiated. I learned what it was like to commit a crime, how it felt. And it felt awful. It felt terrible. It felt horrible. And to this day, when I've tried to figure out moral relativism and religion, 10 Commandments, things of that nature, since my failed attempt to steal an eraser, I always remember the words of Abraham Lincoln. When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. That's my religion. With the H-Town jam, came to the city with a master plan. H-Town is my home wherever I'm at home. I return to the land of the Astrodome. People who are nice by TV chutty treat you the same if you don't got money. No one hardly ever gonna look at you funny. 8 days out of 10, it is always sunny.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. Well, it's a new one. Here I come again, coming again, taking it back to the place where I'm picking up the pen. And before I started, it's already a killer. When you know that you're good, I gotta say that it's a thriller. Hey. So everybody's giving Donald Trump and his kids a hard time because, well, they're not registered Republicans, so they're not able to vote for him in the New York primary. And look, it is a little bit laughable that they didn't have a demonstrable knowledge of the rules in this situation, but it makes me feel for them, and it points out something with regard to our political system that I think is absolutely broken. And we'll get into that a little later on in the show. We will also talk about the hypocrisy of Bryan Adams, yes, Summer of 69 guy, and the folks over at PayPal. How so? Well, we started the show off by talking about a moral compass, and their moral compass, as it turns out, is a scotch selective. How does all that work? We'll get into it after we get into the events of today in our segment, My Witness News. Take it away, Funkhauser.
This is My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair and certainly not balanced. And now, super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser.
Oh, yeah.
Barry Funkhauser.
What?
Barry Funkhauser.
One more?
Barry Funkhauser.
You know, it's so funny, as you were playing that, as it started off, I was like, where's the one where he says your name like 4 times? I like that one. It really drives the point home.
Yes.
That this is who? Barry Funkhauser. Hey, that wasn't a bad shadow. I mean, obviously I sound like a 12-year-old doing an impersonation of a real man, but like...
I would say I was more Don Pardo than Shadow.
Really?
But, you know, somewhere in there.
You know, Don Pardo, it was funny, like, for those that don't know, tell them who Don Pardo is, Funkhauser.
He's the first voice of NBC and the SNL voice guy, announcer forever.
So, like, Jimmy Fallon tells a great story about Don Pardo, where people ask about, like, that voice, and he's like, here's the thing, that's actually how he talks. Like, that's actually how he talks. He was like, I remember when I first started SNL and started getting on sketches and stuff, like, he'd introduce it, and then he'd see me in the hallway, he'd like, Jimmy, you're doing a great job. Like, that's how he would talk to him in the hallways. I love people that walk it like they talk it. It's cool.
Which way to the restroom?
Okay. Get that news.
Lindsay Lohan.
Wait, hold on, wait a second. How you been?
Oh, I've been good. I got hit by a car.
What?
A couple days ago. Yeah.
You always leave out
my
the big
car
details.
Got hit by a car. No, I didn't get hit.
Okay.
But,
are you okay?
I'm fine. Yeah, it was just
Is
a
your
minor
car
little
okay?
fender bender dingy there. But yeah, no. Well, it was a guy. I guess I'm allowed to talk about the case, right? Because it's not a case; it's been settled.
I think if it's in the books, then we're all good.
Some guy was just wanting to turn right aggressively, and clipped me on the way. So my bumper's a little damaged.
Was your car in motion at the time?
No, his was though. You know, I was at a stoplight.
Was it your back bumper?
Yeah, he was trying to get into that right turn lane real quick, like. Oh, and
that's all him. You know,
bam.
like if you're stopped at a red light and he hits you from behind, that's pretty open and shut.
Yeah. So he got out of the car and he had a hot girlfriend. So that was pretty funny. And his car was really nice, and there was no damage on his car. But yeah, it comes to fruition today as I get the insurance called me this morning. They're like, "Hey, we have some questions. We're going to give you a rental car and this, that, and the other." So, it's pretty good. Good insurance.
You getting some back rubs out of it?
No.
Like, I got rear-ended once, and like I remember the insurance people being like, "So, are you going to like a chiropractor, or massage? Do you have any whiplash?" I'm like, "No, I really don't have any pain." And they're like, "Honestly, this guy's kind of a jerk. You want some?" Like, I was just like,
I thought about getting out of my car because I got out of my car first. You know, there was the standoff for a minute. He hit me and was just sitting there. And I was like, I wonder if he's going to get out. So then I got out, and then I contemplated going my neck route, but nah, I couldn't pull that off. Yeah, because it was like, a tiny thing.
Yeah, I did not. I couldn't take up the insurance company on the free back rubs either. Is that moral, that internal moral compass that prevents me from doing a lot of stuff that are fun. Like, life is so unfair, and sometimes it's going to be unfair in your favor, and it takes a person that is a little bit more self-centered than I to fully take advantage of those situations. Sucks being the good guy, Funkhauser.
Yeah. Especially, I'm going to Vegas for the convention next week, so I got to get this all taken care of today.
Oh, which convention?
The National Association of Broadcasters convention.
Oh, so this isn't a naked chick
where media
like
comes to life.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Me and Canadian Jane are going. We're going to look at some stuff. Ang Lee is the keynote speaker this year, so that's that.
I was going to ask why Canadian Jane is going. This seems really dull if you're not in broadcasting, but if she's into like movie making and Ang Lee is the keynote speaker, then that is kind of cool.
Yeah. So that's next week, and hopefully you'll have Dave Hines filling in.
Why is Ang Lee the big director?
You know, I had the same question.
What does he have to do with broadcasting? I mean, it's fascinating keynote speaker, but like, has he at some stage in his career, before he was one of the biggest movie directors on the face of the planet, been like a workaday radio schlub? The time is 6 a.m. and everything sucks for me because I'm in radio. Like, has he ever done that?
No, see, broadcasters, it goes beyond that. There's all kinds of filmmaking, anything that's broadcastable, basically. So you got video and audio now, and there's a big helicopter you can get into, news chopper, and touch all the buttons. And, one of those giant news vans. That's my favorite part. But, they have the drones with the cameras on them that float around and stuff. And,
that's pretty cool.
I guess it's difficult to get the pan shot, like a straight pan shot, because you have to buy this big, elaborate thing. And I guess at NAB this year, that's the big deal. I'm a bad spokesperson for NAB because I'm just like, hey, whistles and bells, look at that, ha ha. But I guess like this year, the big thing is the video. You can put a GoPro camera on this track, and now you can do the pan shot real easy and cheap. So,
it's amazing. You can make movies now on, like, I've seen people that as an exercise made entire music videos on iPhones, and they're amazing. I've seen like people that shoot music videos on iPads and things of that nature, and like a GoPro is just like no money whatsoever. Back when I did a TV show, we had like, it was standard television production. We worked with all the same cameras that, the industry standard stuff. And I remember, like, the camera guy, he was like, check out my new GoPro. And I was like, what does this shoot in? And he was like, 1080. I was like, which is higher quality resolution than a lot of television is broadcast in. So I was like, this thing's like, what, $400, right? And he was like, yeah. And he's like, but it comes with a bunch of stuff, for that $400. I was like, let's shoot one episode of the TV show on this GoPro and see if anybody noticed. And we did, because there's a slight curvature to the edges of the picture because it's, because of the nature of it, but nobody noticed. Like, it's amazing. You can, like, I think it wasn't at an NAB. It was it South by Southwest or Patton Oswalt was a keynote speaker at some big media convention.
Well, it might be
a
Consumer
while ago.
Electronics Show.
Could
It's
be,
almost
but
the same thing.
he was talking to comedians and entertainers and stuff, and he was really stressing the point. He was like, the only thing you are limited by is your creativity. He was like, you hold in your hand, if everybody reaches into your pocket and pulls out their phone, you hold in your hand more filmmaking power than Orson Welles had when he made Citizen Kane. Whatever it is you want to do, you can go out and do it. And, look, part of that's a false economy, because, these things take investment of time and skilled labor and things of that nature. But it really is incredible what is possible in this day and age. It's so funny that radio is dominating. Radio is now doing better than it ever had. Boy, this is really inside baseball. But radio is now doing better than it ever has before. It's crazy. I mean, people like me and Funkhauser are not getting paid in a way that reflects that. But in terms of listenership and the amount of money radio is generating, it is so on top, and nobody can believe it.
Except for right now, like this exact minute
this
in
show.
time.
Yeah,
Everything's doing great and making a bunch of money except this second. Oh, there it went. See that?
There it went.
Here comes another
but
one.
Like, it's crazy. People are freaking out because radio is like this dominant form of media, and everyone thinks it's so antiquated. It's like radio's from the 30s, like frequency modulating.
Yeah, right now somebody's listening to us while filling up their gas tank. Like, how can you do that any other way?
Yeah, no, it's totally
Hi there.
true. Totally true. What up? Don't forget to shake at the end. Whether you're in the gas tank or in the bath, whether you're gassing up your car or whether you're in the little boy's room, don't forget to shake and get the last few drops. We should probably do the news now.
Sure. Lindsay Lohan is reportedly engaged.
Oh, wow.
I read that as enraged.
Enraged? Probably a little both. It'll be, it's hard to believe, all the trials and tribulations that Lindsay Lohan has had over the past decade and a half. This will be her first stumble down the aisle.
Man.
It's amazing this hasn't happened to her before. First rock she's received that wasn't from her Coke dealer. Who is the person that she's in?
Let's get them on the phone right now. Let's ask them 200 questions. I guess we only need one. Why?
She's engaged to a Igor Tarabasov.
Oh.
And if you're wondering...
he's the one guy who didn't know her past.
Well, he's a Russian heir. Like, he owns like a good chunk of Russia. She's about to... wow.
I'll make you my bride. Just don't drive car. You'll get your own driver. You'll be okay. Do you want any oil? I have oil.
Very interesting. What else?
Ben Affleck, Jennifer Garner are renting a home in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Has a big yard for the kids to play in, and nanny quarters for Ben to play in. Continue.
The porn site X Hamster,
which I always thought, like, you see it, places on the internet.
I'm unfamiliar.
Really?
There's porn on the internet?
Well, no, but like, are you unfamiliar?
I'm very familiar. I like the little, as a video's loading, it's a little hamster.
Yeah.
They're no longer going to allow access to users in North Carolina.
Right, because of the anti-LGBT law. They've shut off viewers with IP addresses in North Carolina, beginning on, I think, this coming Monday, as a direct result of their anti-LGBT law that was recently passed. They said, "We are appalled by the recent events that have transpired in North Carolina. We have spent the last 50 years fighting for equality for everyone, and these laws are discriminatory, which xhamster.com does not tolerate." Very interesting when the porn sites become the moral police. It's kind of like Kid Rock becoming the voice of reason in politics. Here's this thing that is known, has made a living off of debauchery. And Kid Rock going, "Oh, geez, settle down. It's just who you're voting for. You don't have to hate each other because someone voted differently than you. We're all Americans. We're all in this together. We're all people. We all want the same stuff. Just settle the hell down." Very strange that we live in a day and age where Mr. Bawitaba, I'm the bull god, is the voice of reason in politics, and the folks over at xhamster.com are the morality police.
Isn't there a better way, though, than to just cut off a whole state? I mean, that's a bad trend, isn't it?
I don't know.
We can't get water anymore because, we it's $15 an hour in our state. So
I don't know, but I do know this. I am canceling that trip to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Go on.
The NFL denied Cleveland Browns receiver Josh Gordon's request to be reinstated because he tested positive for marijuana last month.
Yeah, this is the guy that just can't get it together, and I think he's shacked up. He's roommates with Johnny Manziel, like just two guys that just cannot sort their personal stuff out. And it's kind of a sad indictment and a sad statement on what it's like to be a person that has a problem with substance abuse. And look, like, he tested positive for marijuana, which is just bananas because, like, marijuana is like non-addictive. It's just like, but I think that there's a switch in his mind that makes him go like, let's ruin things for you. It's crazy. He won't be reinstated because he tested positive for marijuana last month. Didn't help his cause that the request was written on zigzag rolling papers.
I know it's not right, but I think that I would feel better if I could smash all your fingers so you could never touch a guitar again and make that horrible thing that you so laughably call music. That's not what the word music means. That's not how you use it. You gave it a shot. You tried your best. Your best just sucked without enough. So hang it up. Just give it up. It's time somebody lets you know that you will never be good enough. You will never be one of us.
Now, more AD on the radio.
Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you my musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me.
So, it's interesting. X-Hamster turning off the porn in North Carolina because of the anti-LGBT law that they passed a little while ago. It brings up an interesting point. There's been a theme of morality and moral relativism here today on the show. And, well, if you're going to take a stand on something, maybe not if you're a porn company. If you're a porn company, you're like, whatever. We're just doing what we feel is the right thing. But you're doing something else that's wrong. Well, that's your opinion. But if you're going to take a stand on something, it's good to have all the arrows point in the right direction. And there's folks like PayPal and folks like Brian Adams, yes, Summer 69 guy, taking a stand on some stuff. And people are going, hey, your message would be significantly less watered down if you weren't doing this. What is the this? We'll get to that a little later on after we wrap up the news. Funkhauser, what else is going on in the world?
microphone on. Programming note, tomorrow, 2 special guests.
Oh?
Sam Fierstein will be in here to pronounce his last name correctly. And Dave Hines joins us to fill in for me next week. Dave Hines from KXUS Springfield, Missouri. So get ready for an accent and a beard.
He's gonna be the Funkhauser while you're off at the National Association of Broadcasters. You know, between Sam and Dave being on the show tomorrow. Hey, isn't
Sam
that the
and Dave.
name of a? That's
Hold on.
I'm coming. Between Sam and Dave being on the show tomorrow.
We should promote the heck out of that.
Yeah, so we're having Sam and Dave on the show tomorrow. That's crazy, considering I think some of them are dead. But those two guys have, they've got men's voices. Manly men doing manly things and talking about it in a manly way. That's what Sam and Dave
sponsored by
like.
Brawny.
Yeah. No, we're going to be talking, and they're going to be on the air, and we're both going to sound like we're about 6 years old. It'll be interesting. All right, what else?
A man used a 3D printer to make spiked battle armor for his cat.
Hold on.
Can you find that picture and blog it?
I'm looking for... Hold on. What is spiked battle armor for a cat? Oh, that's crazy. This is like cat getting ready to rumble? That's... Huh.
I'm not a cat guy, but if I was a cat guy, that's what I would do.
You'd 3D print it spiked battle armor?
Yeah. My cat would have a wardrobe.
Well, I'm going to tweet this out now. It's interesting. I think the unfortunate thing about 3D printers limitations at this stage in the game for this guy is, unfortunately, 3D printer technology isn't advanced enough to also 3D print yourself a girlfriend, because I guarantee this guy does not have one.
They're probably trying that out right now.
Have you seen that video floating around the internet of that all-encompassing suit? And again,
Careful.
all these forms of technology, it comes out of Japan, I think. It's like a suit that you wear, and it's like 3D simulated. And there's stuff you can touch, and this stuff that does stuff to you. Have you seen the videos for that?
No.
It really is next level stuff. And I will never be first to the party with that sort of thing, but it does make you a little bit curious. I will never insert myself into a piece of machinery unless that machinery has been completely vetted for safety. It's never going to happen. It's interesting, though. Look it up when you're not on a company IP address. Go on. What else?
A woman sued a haunted house after 2 men dressed as clowns assaulted her and her daughter with sex toys.
Did you say haunted house or Charlie Sheen's house?
Same thing.
Go on.
A new study says sex does count as an exercise.
But be warned. Combining the two, good way to lose your membership to the YMCA. Now I'm really, really going to wipe down the stationary bike before I use it. All right, one last piece of news, Funkhauser.
Well, yesterday's show we said Paul Ryan's going to be maybe president going forward.
Yeah.
But he said late in the day yesterday, Paul Ryan says he's not seeking the presidency in 2016.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out, for those people that listen in Houston and Florida who don't listen to the show live.
You get it late.
You get it late. And so yesterday morning, the headline is Paul Ryan definitely looks like he's running for president. And what do we have to do? It's topic A. We have to hit it. And then, more or less, the second we get off the air, Paul Ryan has a big announcement today about how he's not going to be president. And then he made the announcement a little later on in the show. So by the time the show aired, if you heard us talking about maybe Paul Ryan's going to be president, we sounded like freaking dunderheads. But that is the nature of the show not being live everywhere on the face of the planet. There's many other reasons why we sound like dunderheads other times, but in this particular instance, we had a legit excuse. But yeah, Paul Ryan says he's not seeking the presidency in 2016. But, you know, if there's another reboot of the Munsters, he's a sure thing to be the new Eddie. That guy definitely looks like he could be hanging out with Morticia Adams.
The pilot aired.
The one?
It's on YouTube. The first pilot episode of the Munsters.
No kidding.
It's out there.
Wow.
In color and weird.
Ryan not seeking the presidency in 2016, but and just in case, I think Donald Trump went ahead and told him he was a stupid low-energy loser. Just
get him out
as insurance. Superman versus Batman. You seen it, Funkhauser? Weren't you dragged to it?
No, it's just on every billboard here at the Warner Brothers lot where I'm close to living.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the best part about the movie.
Andrew Dice Clay had some interesting things to say about Superman versus Batman. The Dice Man is back, by the way, and we'll get into exactly what he said shortly. Thank you so much for hanging out. Joining the conversation, tweet us at ADSXE at FunkFM.
You know you better be coming with something that's real to get ahead of me.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The Dumbing Up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
So you know all those posters that you're concerned about all over the place near where you are in Hollywood, California, Funkhauser, the Batman versus Superman posters?
Yeah.
Andrew Dice Clay has a problem with those same posters.
This campaign is disgusting. Batman versus Superman. Are you kidding me with this here now? Bruce Wayne, they shouldn't even be on the same poster. There is no competition here. You know what I mean? Think about it. Batman, big shot, right? Shows up at a little costume party with the outfit, the little mask with the pointy ears, the utility belt, with a flashlight and a chain ladder and some pepper spray. What's he say? Stop! I'm gonna mace you. Drives around, this guy, right? Drives around in a little souped-up Trans Am with the big rims. You can meet this guy at any gas station changing out the battery with his little assistant Robin.
He makes a valid point. But I think the whole idea of Superman versus Batman is that Superman is this indomitable force, this incredible, unbeatable, amazing thing. But you know what? There would not be a Superman comic book or a Superman storyline if occasionally he didn't run into a challenge. And I think the idea is that Batman, while his only superpower is being extraordinarily rich, is resourceful and intelligent enough to give Superman a real run for his money. And I'm not going to offer up any spoilers about how he does it, but look, the movie I haven't seen yet. I heard it's disappointing if you're an old school comic books fan, but the idea of Superman versus Batman as originally presented in The Dark Knight is one of the most compelling storylines because that's the first thought. Superman versus Batman, no contest. But Batman's ingenuity put Superman in a very difficult place. Hey, have I effectively regrown my virginity with this conversation, Funkhauser? I think I have. And we should probably move the hell on. Yeah. Turns out that, and I don't think this is... See, I have a problem with this because we are a country that is supposed to be about individual liberty. All men are created equal. Liberty and justice for all. Each man is endowed by their creator with certain rights. And for a country that's supposed to be all about the individual, we really, really only do favors for joiners. You want to join a club, an organization, a fraternity, a brotherhood, you're just going to be better off in life. That lone wolf thing is a much tougher road to hoe, which hacks me the hell off because I've never been a joiner. And I don't know if you caught it or not. Donald Trump's 3 oldest kids, all active members of his campaign, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric Trump. But out of all of them, when it comes to the New York primary, only Donald Jr. able to vote. It's a closed primary. Only people registered as Republicans or Democrats can vote for their party. Donald Jr., registered Republican. Ivanka and Eric, not so much, so they got to sit it out. They're independents. They've both given money to politicians in both parties, a lot like Donald. And Donald was actually asked about it on Fox and Friends, and he said they were, unaware of the rules, and they didn't register in time, so they feel very, very guilty. It's fine. I understand that. They have to register a year in advance, and they didn't. So Eric and Ivanka, I guess, won't be voting. The deadline was actually October 9th. Trump also joked that he's cutting back on their allowance as punishment. But this bums me the hell out. This is one of the things that I find, look, yes, it's laughable that their dad's running for president. They're trying to be an active part of his campaign, and they don't know the rules.
LOL.
Yeah, LOL. Hashtag LOL. But here's the thing that irks me about this. You got to register way the hell in advance. You basically have to go, you know what? I'm throwing in behind this party. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who the figurehead is. Doesn't matter how I feel about a person on the other side of the political fence. Common sense would say there's going to be times where you want to vote the person, not the party. And this system of closed primaries absolutely takes away your ability to be a free-thinking person, one of the foundations of what America is supposed to be all about. And it's just, I don't have too much more to say about it, but it is an indicator that our process is broken. It is an indicator, this idea of closed primaries, that they don't want people to think as part of our political process. They want people to be knee-jerk reactionary joiners. That is what is propping up this entire system. They want to remove thought from it. They just want you to sign up, fill out a ticket, and go for it. They want you to join the club. They want you to abide by their rules. They want you to read the bylaws, and they want you to just blindly pledge allegiance to whatever the hell they spout out because you're registered in a certain way. And when you try and unregister, we've got a listener in Colorado who's listening now, Scott Briscoe, who said he tried to unregister himself as a Republican. He said it was like trying to quit a gym. Said they made it almost impossible for him. And that is, to me, the downside of being registered as anything. That is the downside of declaring your allegiance to a particular political party. It shackles you from being able to think freely and make decisions on the fly based on matters of principle. It's asking you to just blindly believe that your leader is the right person for the job and not question them. And that, my friend, is dangerously close to any number of things that should put you in panic mode. Fascism, theocracy, whatever you want to call it. It's a slippery slope, and that is part of it. And it seems to be one that not too many people are willing to take notice of. But it's highlighted by the Trump family's ignorance of the particular rule, because the rule, as much as they should have known it, makes zero to little sense. Funkhauser, when you watch movies with the significant other with Canadian Jane, romantic comedies ever?
We just saw The Big Short. That was a good one.
Oh, that's not a rom-com.
Nah.
Occasionally, I think it is incumbent upon you to watch a romantic comedy with your girlfriend. Here's comedian Quincy Jones on it.
You guys like romantic comedies? Good. I don't. I don't, because it's the same old plot, right? It's about an uptight businesswoman and a laid-back guy. They're from opposite sides of the track. How are they going to make it work? How are they going to make it work? And that's it. Well, I wrote my own screenplay. It's a little more reality-based. It's called Two People Dating in L.A. with No Car. She lives in Reseda. He lives in Encino. There's no train. How are they going to make it work? How are they going to make it work?
What? Take the bus on Ventura Boulevard.
I don't like people who wear community college sweatshirts. I don't. They're a little too cocky in life, and I don't know why. It's like, get your bachelor's, then you rock the apparel. You know what I'm saying? Don't celebrate prematurely. We got 2 more years to go. Finish strong.
Have you been in that situation before? You're a Hollywood native. You're a Los Angeles.
Reseda and Encino. Come on, that's like a bus ride.
Yeah, see, you know how to deal with it.
But yeah,
because
I've been in that
there's
situation.
there's nothing that'll ignite a woman's fiery passion more than you taking a bus to see her on a date.
I dated a girl that lived in like downtown LA, and you know as an LA person not to like ever go there.
Uh-huh.
And I was, why do you live there? I'm like never going to be able to. Bye.
Yeah. You're geographically challenged. We shan't be seeing each other naked. Interesting.
Again.
Speaking of who gets to see who naked again, right? Yeah. Did you have like a situation where you got to see her naked right out of the gate and then found out where she lived and were like, you don't look that good in your underwear?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You're not worth the trip. This thing that we did, it was fun, but not that fun. So PayPal is boycotting North Carolina. Yet it does business in 25 countries where homosexuality is straight up illegal. Bryan Adams, summer of '69, cuts like a knife. Canadian rock superstar, second only to Celine Dion and Nickelback. Bryan Adams has announced that he's boycotting Mississippi over their religious freedom bill.
Forgot about Drake.
Yet he has no problems. He's got no problems playing in countries where homosexuals get jailed, tortured, sometimes ultimately killed. He's played in the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Syria. In light of Mississippi's decision to pass a religious freedom bill, Bryan Adams is canceling an upcoming show at the Mississippi Coast Coliseum. Followed in the footsteps of Bruce Springsteen and, like we said, PayPal, pulled out of North Carolina over the state's recently passed bathroom ordinance. You know, it was interesting. I didn't realize Bryan Adams was even still around. And you know what? Like, if this is really an issue of morality, if it is so morally reprehensible for you to go to a state, if it is so morally reprehensible for you to go to a state that you feel like you want to punish your audience by not showing up because of something that they might have had absolutely nothing to do, you know what? If you make that decision, if you are a hard-line person on this sort of thing, you know what? I salute you, because that is your right. That is your right to have the ability to take a stand on things that are wrong in your eyes. But you got to have all the arrows pointing in the same direction. It's no good saying like, they're sketchy about who's allowed to use which bathroom in this particular place, but I'm going to go somewhere else where if you're gay, you get stoned to death. It doesn't really wash as well if, like I said, all your arrows don't point in the same direction. As for PayPal, North Carolina Congressman Robert Pittenger noted that the company does business in 25 countries where homosexual behavior is illegal, including 5 countries where the penalty is straight up death. Yet they're taking a stand. They're objecting to the North Carolina legislature overturning this ordinance about letting men into women's bathrooms. Like I said, I admire people taking the moral high ground. I admire people acting in principle. But if you don't want your message to be watered down, you need to clarify this situation. Because right now it's coming off as extraordinarily hypocritical. And it makes you look like you are governed by the almighty dollar. It's a great publicity play at home to not go to a place where people aren't free to use the bathroom they feel they should use. but you do yourself very little favors by turning around and going and getting paid through the freaking nose, as you do when you're this sort of an entertainer and you go to the Middle East to put on a show, to sing Summer of 69 in a place where if you're gay, you're going to get jailed and then get put to death. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. Story time with Sam Firestein, storyteller extraordinaire, is on the show tomorrow. We can't wait to see what he's got in store for us. Thank you so much.